got a bad feeling about this.
And welcome back to a brand new episode of the Outer Rim News Show. The weekly, bi-weekly week. Is it bi-weekly? Bi-monthly? I don't know, every 2 week show that talks about all new Star Wars. And I can't wait to start talking about Star Wars with you. And I'm going to bring in the co-host with the mostest, Austin Gordy and Ray Snedeker, in just a second. I'm going to leave them hanging for just a second, though, just because they're doing funny stuff and they want me to make them go live while they're doing funny stuff, and I'm not going to do that. Maybe not. Maybe not. What? What is this garbage, man? What are y'all doing?
I don't know. I think what I just did was like doubly racist. I just now realized that. Isn't that like now they're trying to say that that's racist or something, like white power?
Why don't you stop doing it then?
Yeah, really. I know.
Because I'm taking it back. White power. I mean, no.
I have no clue. So I don't know.
You never have a clue. Oh,
I feel
me.
Feel the long darkness approaching. Oh yeah, check this out. I got a new chair, and it goes up, and it goes down, and it goes up, and it goes down, and it goes up.
How much do you pay for something like that? That looks expensive.
But the thing is it a Star Wars chair?
I know.
Ooh, it's a Darth Maul chair.
No. It's not anything official. It just happens to be red and black.
I'm just wondering.
He's a Georgia fan, apparently.
I had to get a new one. My last one broke because it just
because I'm fat.
It just broke. Yeah,
no.
It's like one of those. It's those types that have the connectors through the sides, like the arms basically hold the back to the seat, and eventually like one of the arms broke. So
yeah,
I had to get one.
I'm doing something, so talk amongst yourselves.
No, that's fine. If you want to look like you're getting attacked, it's like CB4 when somebody stole the camera and ran off with it. Man, tell me this: Ray? Have you been seeing like all the news about like I guess it's like the celebration of the Force Unleashed, because it's supposed to be coming out on the Switch now, or it's out now. But I know that Sam Witwer was interviewed about it, and have you seen any of that?
No, actually, today was the first I saw. It was either today or yesterday. I actually saw the news that it was coming to Switch. So I was surprised about it. Kind of sad that there's not any slight remastering going on for the more next gen stuff. But
yeah, it's kind of odd how they again. Plus, I think, what is it, the 15th anniversary or something of the game? So it's like they're doing it. But anyway, I was reading the interview with Sam Witwer and him talking about how just how super psyched he was at it and getting to go to the Lucas Studios or whatever. It was like some studios he had to go to and do all the mocap stuff and then it was like what was it he was saying before that? Like, 'cause he was apparently a big time gamer or whatever. Like he's like, I've been playing them since the Ataris, and he's explaining all this stuff.
Yeah, if you watch him and other stuff, he's a big nerd. Like about as much as us. Like I've seen him hosting and playing part in like so many tabletop games with other actors, voice actors, and stuff like that. I remember watching one video where he was having to explain to the other players the rules of the new Star Wars tabletop RPG. Like he was well versed in like the mechanics, so he was the one having to give them all, tell them the play-by-play how it works and stuff. So he loves all that stuff. Like he's like Joe Manganiello and stuff like that, and where they're just big geeks, even though they look.
Don't they do like game nights or something like? Don't they do game nights every week or something like that? Don't they?
He's not. I don't think he's part of that group. I think you might be talking about the Critical Role group, where Ashley Johnson, and I don't know if he's ever been on that, but I think I've seen him do like a couple things. I don't know if it's as big as those. I don't think it is, but he's done smaller stuff. But yeah, I love how much he. Like him and other ones like him and Freddie Prinze, they're both big, geeks. They love Star Wars and they love the lore. That's just it's almost like the dream job. The thing you've loved since you were a kid. Everything about it, and you get to actually become part of it in a way, like your likeness is used in perpetuity as this character. It's so
see, and plus
it'd be
I
a
was
big
always
honor.
that was my intro to him too. Like that
Yeah.
was how I knew him. I think he had probably been in other like CW things at the time or whatever.
Yeah, he'd been in
Smallville. But see, I that was kind of my
Played
intro
Doomsday.
to him,
Mhm.
and yeah, then I was glad that they brought him back and he played Maul. And
Yeah.
I think I get my years wrong. I think it's 14 years since Force Unleashed, so it's almost 15. So it wasn't it like 2008 when it came out, something like that.
It's been a while.
I know it was
Yeah,
a while. It doesn't feel that long ago, but it
was-
was a long
I would
time
say
ago.
it was pretty early into the pretty early into the lifespan of the Xbox 360 and
Right, and that was
PS3.
that was in 2005. So I think it was by 2008 they had done the Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, I just remember him talking about that. But yeah, it's been his big anniversary or whatever. It's like over 10 years now since they hired him as Darth Maul. So that's pretty cool. I just like that
2008. You're right.
they brought him back. Yeah,
September
I'm just glad that they
2008.
brought him back. That was just what was so cool because not only and some people didn't realize he did the voice of Palpatine in the Force
Mhm.
Unleashed.
Yep.
So it's like that dude's got some range in terms of voice acting.
Oh yeah,
So
his
yeah.
Maul is. I love his Maul voice.
He
Yeah,
does
great job.
he does the voice of Palpatine in the Clone Wars after Tim Curry,
Yeah,
had his.
he had a stroke.
or
I think.
something?
Yeah, I think he had a stroke. But I think didn't Ian McDiarmid take over at some point? Like did a small stint as Palpatine for some.
Something
No,
like that.
he
He did
for
play him in Rebels.
Rebels. That's what it was at the end of Rebels. I think it was only at the end though, right? I don't think he did it like during his first few scenes, like in season 1 and 2.
And then in Solo: A Star
Yeah, I
Wars
don't
story,
think
he
so.
did
Yeah.
the voice of Darth Maul too.
Yeah. Well,
Even
that,
though
he
Ray
did
Park
that.
was there.
Yeah, I love that they did that kind of two parts of a whole, like two perfect halves of a whole. Like, Ray Park embodies him physically, while he kind of embodies like the mental, spiritual essence of
like
Maul
you hear the
with voice
voice
work.
and and you hear it's like you hear that voice and you're like that's Maul. Like that's definitely Maul.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I dig that for sure.
So I'm excited. Like I said, I'm a little disappointed it's not coming for current, other next gen stuff like the PS5, PS4.
Maybe they'll work on that because they're obviously this is I think on the Switch it's like the old Wii version, just upgraded.
Oh, it's the Wii version. Okay.
Yeah, it's got the fighting, because it's got the versus mode on it and all that stuff too.
I thought they were going to be just remastering like the PS3, Xbox 360 version.
Yeah, no, no, it's going to be no. So I bet they'll probably end up hopefully doing that master and putting that because they do need to do that. They need to do like a Legends they need to do that for all the Star Wars games. To be honest, like it would be cool to see a Legends remastering of Shadows or something.
Well, they're doing it little by little because we saw the remastering of Pod Racer, Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy.
Jango Fett game.
Yeah, Fett game. I think
I can't wait to see the true because they're coming out with that true remaster of Knights of the Old Republic. Remember, it's basically going to be like a remake. Oh yeah, like a remake. Yeah. That I can't wait to see what they do with that.
That's going to be interesting.
I wonder when that'll drop.
I'd guess maybe we'll get some news. Maybe we'll get a little bit of news. Like if nothing, maybe they'll just say, "Oh, we're still hard at work on it." But I imagine
probably this holiday they'll probably come out this holiday saying they're hard at work on it, and then it'll be for not like next year probably.
Yeah, but Star Wars Celebration is just what a month away.
A long way. Yeah, I was gonna say it's not that.
And I imagine a lot of game news will drop.
Yeah, well, one piece of game thing that will drop on the 4th has to do with another game that came out recently that Ashley and I both have gotten. Austin has not gotten around to it. I don't know if you're planning to get it, but Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga is out now.
I want to get it. I haven't played it yet.
You are planning to get it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm planning to. I just haven't gotten around to buying it yet because I bought Horizon and I was trying to think. I bought some other game and I bought a few online games plus the Ghost of Tsushima. So I was like, I've got to chill out on games. And now that's come out, it's like I haven't even bought the Force Unleashed Switch version yet, but I want to get that. But no, definitely the Skywalker Saga looks good. How is it?
Oh, it's if you love Lego games, if you enjoy the style, because there's very set game style to the Lego games. They're made for kids. The kids are the main audience. So there's a lot of fun jokes in it. It's fun gameplay. It's not overly challenging at all. Like most of the puzzles are something a kid can, figure out.
Tell me this though, is it basically just a complete reimagining of everything they've done before? Like it's basically all new, or does some of it feel familiar? Like, I've done this mission, this type of mission before in the original.
No, it's nothing like that. It's almost like they rebuilt the whole idea from scratch. It's not like they just remastered, reprettied like the other
like
ones.
Basically, the ones that came before were the old ones. These are the new ones.
Everything's completely different in this. Like everything, like the game style, how you get from mission to mission, what the structure is of the worlds. Because every game, mission or actual game wise, every movie,
it's pretty much like open world or something like that.
It's mostly open world. What it is you each episode has 5 missions, and in between that, other parts of the story play out. So like, say you don't even have like the whole Naboo part doesn't even start in episode 1 in the Trade Federation ship. Like the actual mission structure stuff doesn't. That's mainly the open world stuff. Like you're in the room, or you're walking around the ship. The whole Trade Federation ship is an open world environment that you walk around to. And then you go to do what you call like continue the story. You'll like go to a little marker that says continue the story. You'll get a cutscene that gets you to the next section, or it'll point you to the next point. I think the first actual Lego style mission is going through the planet core. It's really odd. It's odd. It's new. It's a bit jarring if you're really used to the old Lego style.
Yep.
But I think I'm adapting to it more as I go on. Like especially by episode 2, I think like I was really enjoying the game and the structure, and it's just a ton of stuff to do in it. Just a metric ton. And I stopped after Force Awakens. So I have Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker left to finish. But what I'm deciding to do is wait until the 4th, because that will be when the final of the current wave, I guess. They might do more after this. But the current DLC they have announced, they have one more coming out on the 4th. So I'm just going to wait until that comes out, download that, and then I'll finish it up. Yeah. Because all the DLC that came out so far, you have Mandalorian. You have Mandalorian pack that has some characters from the Mandalorian like Mando, Grief, IG-88, Quill.
Is it just characters?
You mean IG-11?
Yeah, IG-11. Yeah, gotcha. Just characters so far. They haven't done any type of mission like stuff.
Okay.
There was a solo pack which has young Han Solo, young Lando. I think Kira, and I think someone else. Oh yeah, Tobias. And there's also there's a classic pack there was a classic deal. There's a classic Obi-Wan Kenobi with the yellow Lego Man skin that came out also, which was
cool.
Which is pretty cool. It's like old man Ben. He came in, I think if you pre-ordered it, I think that's how you get him. But what's coming out and what just came out this past week was a Rogue One pack, which included Jyn, Cassian. I forgot who else was with it.
K2SO?
Maybe. I know Chirrut, I think, is in it. Maybe Baze.
I was going to say I'd have to have Chirrut. I would probably play as him all the time.
I'm pretty sure Chirrut's in it. And the 2 more that are coming out on the 4th are going to be there's going to be a Mandalorian season 2 pack, which is going to include Ahsoka, and that was the main one I remember from the season 2 pack. I think some other characters. I think I forgot who else. And there's also going to be, which I'm really excited about, is the Bad Batch pack, which has got basically the whole Bad Batch crew. And that's what I'm
cool.
Yeah.
I thought there was a Star Wars Rebels pack coming.
I thought there was too. I know one came out with The Force Awakens. There was one that came out with that because I have that one. I looked at the news. at least last I saw that there hasn't been one. I'd love there to be one because I love the
You know,
characters.
I absorbed so much news throughout the week. I thought I saw an image where they were kind of showcasing that, but I mean, I could have been looking at something stupid. I don't know. I could be wrong. So, I mean, are you having fun with it?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm currently in a pause on it. I'm going to wait until May to officially go and finish it. But yeah, throughout all the ones I've played, you know, the first 7 stories, I really enjoyed it. Like the way they would handle, like, you know, because Lego's got its own brand of humor, and also they had to approach it differently because between the last Star Wars saga game that came out, between the you know, that one and now, they've started using voice acting. So, you know, voice acting plays a huge role, and you can also turn that off now. That's a big thing that they did that people were wanting. You can turn off voice work, and I guess the game will retool the cutscenes to fit not having a voice in it. It's called mumble mode, which is really funny.
That's probably what I would pick, because I mean that's kind of like the fun of Lego to me is them doing it without any words.
But the other thing is, like, they still do a great job with the humor as it is. Like, there's a great joke that's actually been a little viral, I've noticed, where Palpatine, if you have like Palpatine and Anakin like as your playable characters in the open world, eventually like Palpatine will say something to Anakin about Darth Plagueis, and Anakin will say something like, yes, I'd like to hear that story, or something like that. And then if you switch and make it Vader and Palpatine, Palpatine will say the exact same thing again, you know, like, have you heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? And Vader this time will just say, we can't keep doing this. You've told me this story 1,000 times. But yeah, they're great with humor. I love their stuff. So yeah, I know people will complain, and people always got to complain about something when it comes to Star Wars. Like, it's too easy and stuff like that. But I mean, it's Lego. It first and foremost, it is for kids, even though adults can enjoy it. I enjoy it, but I'm not going to try to force them to like be more mature and challenging. You know, it is what it is.
I mean, I haven't played it yet. I own the game. I haven't played it. My wife stole it from me. So she's playing through it first. And of course, she won't let me play while she's playing it. She has to complete it 100% and platinum trophy it.
Oh, wow.
Before I even get a chance to pop it in the PlayStation. But I mean, I've watched her play, you know, through some of the levels and stuff. And you could tell it's a lot different than the normal Lego game, but it looks a lot more polished too. I mean, the graphics on it look slick. I like the new, you know, aiming of how you aim to shoot.
Yeah, you actually go over the shoulder now for like blaster fire.
Yeah. So there's and just flying the ship through space.
I was going to say, didn't they introduce that with the Force Awakens?
Yeah, they started.
Yeah, I was going to say I was impressed with that. I can't wait to see how it plays on the PS5. I mean, because you got the PS5 version, right, Ray?
Well, I pre-ordered the PS4 version because I didn't have it at the time.
But it gave you the free upgrade, right?
But there was a specific.
Go ahead.
I was going to say there was a specific reason. He's up on my shelf. I showed him in the last episode of That Toy Life. But I couldn't upgrade because it's the deluxe edition, and the deluxe edition comes with the blue milk minifigure.
But as long as they give you the free upgrade, it doesn't really matter, because you still have to use the same disc and everything. So, but I was going to say, how is the PS5 features, like the triggers and all the controls and stuff? Does all that do they utilize that? I guess is the best thing, because sometimes they really don't. It depends on the company.
I gotta say, I think from what I remember, I think certain tools and weapons and stuff, I think they do utilize the adaptive triggers.
Gotcha.
From what I remember, I'll say one thing I think you'll appreciate is the lightsaber fighting is a little bit more intricate now. Not too much, but it's more than just going around hitting. Blocking and dodging does play a part now. Like in the fights,
that's
like
awesome. That's
the
awesome.
Maul
That's
fight's
really
a big.
good.
Yeah, the Darth Maul fight's a big set piece, and that's pretty cool. That's like,
nice.
You really kind of get to play around just like an epic Jedi fight, but with Legos.
Nice. What about how do they handle like vehicle combat, vehicle piloting, and things like that, and space combat and things like that?
You can go from world to world in the free mode. There is like once you unlock worlds, you can travel to them, almost just like Star Wars stuff. Like you get a ship, you get the ships that you've unlocked, and you can fly around. You can fly around on the outside of the planets, like in space outside the planets. You can do a couple space missions. But for story missions that involve a ship, those are pretty much on rails. So you're not going to have, at least for certain ones, like say something that works a little bit more like Rogue Squadron or something like that. Like say the Trade Federation ship. You can fly all around the Trade Federation ship until you complete that part of the mission. Then you'll go inside, and that's a little bit more on rails. Like going through the planet core, that's completely on rails. Parts of the Death Star trench run are a little bit on rails, and then parts of it are a little bit more open. So it's a mix. Like
Gotcha. Okay.
Like some parts, mainly story parts, are on rails, and then the rest of it is a lot of free flying, which is pretty fun.
Right. Speaking of, I know we've had squadrons and stuff. I would like to see a true like Rogue Squadron follow up, or like a reimagining, since we're in a new universe and new EU. I would like to see them do Rogue Squadron again. That would be really cool, even if it came out on like Switch, if it was like a Nintendo type of thing.
Is that the one that came out like the Nintendo 64?
Yeah, it was the one that was on 64, and then they did the awesome sequels on the GameCube. Remember they did Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2, and then it was what was it called? Rebel something. Ray, do you remember? It was like Rebel something, Rogue Squadron 3.
There was
like Rebel Strike,
Rebel Leader, Rebel Leader, yeah,
or Rogue Leader or something like that.
No,
I just know that the second one, I know that the first one on the GameCube was Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2.
Okay, so it's Rogue Leader, Rebel Strike. That's what it was. Rogue Leader is Rogue Squadron 2. Rebel Leader or Rebel Strike is Rogue Squadron 3.
Gotcha.
Because I had both of them on GameCube. I had to look down over there.
I was going to say, and Rogue Leader was such a great, to be a sequel to a game. It was such a great game, like such a great Star Wars game. So I would just love to see them do just just in this universe, but make it more like that gameplay where you're it's not as technical as Squadrons was, because Squadrons was way more of a flight simulator style, and also you were trapped in the like you couldn't turn it to third person, you were only in the cockpit and things like that. So I could see how that could turn some people off. So I mean, I wouldn't mind if you could just switch it just like you could in Rogue Squadron. But yeah, man, basically like the similar stuff like that would be awesome.
Honestly, Squadrons I tried, but I just couldn't get over being stuck in that
in the cockpit.
In the cockpit.
It seems like
it can make it hard for some people.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'll say, it's almost like it was a double-edged sword for the idea of that game, because I feel like from the concept, when they were in the concept stage of it, the idea that the game was built around was VR, like being inside the cockpit. And then they kind of they probably hit the snag where somebody said to them, well, what about for people that don't have VR? Because VR is expensive. It's an expensive accessory to have for either, for both of them, for the PS4, and then there's going to be one coming up for the PS5. I'm sure that's probably going to be more expensive, but it does feel like it was made for that, like to be optimized by people who have the VR.
So it is a VR game. So I mean, if you had the headset.
Yeah. If you have a headset, you can basically put it on. You can look around in the cockpit, and then you can also fly. But you don't have to do one or the other, because I think you could only you had to press a button or something like that to be able to
actually look around.
Yeah,
you did. To actually rotate around.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And last bit of news for video game world is that Amy Hennig, I don't know if you know her.
Oh yes.
Yeah. What? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, if you haven't, if you've played the first 3 Uncharted games, or Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, is the old school game back from like PS1 days, PS2, I believe. She was like the creative force behind those. She stepped off, I think, before Yeah, she stepped off before Uncharted 4 to work on a game for Star Wars for EA.
Yep.
What's called, I think it's known currently like as the backstory was like, I think it was called Project Ragtag or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was scrapped, wasn't it?
It was scrapped because EA was in its big like we've got a microtransaction everything. If a game can't be utilized with multiplayer and microtransactions, it's not profitable enough. So they ended up scrapping it, and that ended up blowing up in their face. Now, your news, Ashley, because I think this is kind of a resurrection of sorts, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. From what I can tell, okay, she works at a different company called Skydance Media now.
Yeah.
But where she was working for Visceral Games, I guess they did the Uncharted stuff.
No, they were that was Naughty Dog. Visceral.
Okay.
Visceral was a.
That's the one she was working on. For the Star Wars game with EA.
Yeah, she moved. She got signed up with them. Now, Visceral, they worked on games like, have you ever heard of Dante's Inferno for the PS3? It was a bit of a hack and slash game. They worked on that. I think they did some of the. I think they did some of the Dead Space games. I think I could be wrong, and I think they've done also the Titanfall's Respawn. I was about to say Titanfall, but no, they did that one.
So this game apparently, there's not much known about it, and the way it's described is a richly cinematic action-adventure game featuring an original story set in the Star Wars universe. But a lot of people the people in the know are saying that it's going to be an Uncharted type game,
which is what
gameplay.
Yeah, I'm excited for the concept of. I think that fits perfect, especially if you want to get into the Star Wars place that's much more in the scoundrel realm of that, that whole universe. People have been begging for stuff like that. Jedi and great Jedi, fun. I love a good Jedi game. I'm still waiting for some more great ones, but they still haven't really embraced that scoundrel underworld side in a video game yet in a long time. So if they do this and have a fun, it sounds like that Project Ragtag story. Like if it's, the tone sounds similar because that was like, supposed to be like a big, I think the story's like a big heist. I believe the star character was actually being played by Nolan North, who played Drake in the Uncharted games.
But if it's like anything else, though, it's announced today. It's out 5 years from now. So, who knows when it's going to be released.
True.
Let's switch gears to some toy-related news.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what we have up here. I'm going to share my screen for just a sec and show you some cool new stuff that was just announced. And here we go. First up with the LEGO UCS Landspeeder. So what do you think about that?
So this is like the ultimate, like the deluxe version of the Landspeeder.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I mean, it looks nice from what I can see here.
This is 199 smackaroonies. Does it say anything? 1,890 pieces. Wow. That is awesome. I wish they would put it like against the UCS Millennium Falcon. Just so you could see like scale wise how it looks.
It would swallow it though. That Millennium Falcon would swallow it. That's what's so crazy.
That's one thing. Like when I see this, like when I see it here against the minifigures, it's a little too big. Like one thing I love
I definitely agree because those are way too small.
That's almost like a small little Corvette, like Corvette size ship that like
they are kind of small looking at them. Holy,
like that looks like that has the roomy space of like a U-wing fighter probably.
Like really though, if I was looking at that, I would say go ahead, like the salesman. I would like go ahead, put Luke in the seat. Go ahead.
I'm gonna break the
He'd be like, no, I'm not gonna do
atmosphere. That. Yeah, wow. I mean, I like. Yeah, I mean, it does look great. That would be a set that I would not include a minifigure for, just because the scale looks so weird against it. I mean, yes and no.
Because it would just be like you had the minifigs just to collect them, but they don't go with the set.
Because like Luke's gonna be so tiny in that.
Yeah, it does look kind of
But then again, I can say the same thing about Batman. The Batman Tim Burton Batmobile. You know, when you look at Batman against that, Batman is swallowed by that Batmobile.
Yeah.
I mean, God, what was the name of the bat plane?
Batwing.
The Batwing. Yeah, the Batwing actually looked more in scale because I mean it's a giant plane that fit more in scale with the minifigure. But I don't know, for some reason when it's these ultimate sets, I love when the scale's accurate to the size of the minifigure, like proportion wise.
Look at him. Look how big it is proportion wise to him. I'm just saying it's huge. It's big.
Yeah. Like I mean, well, like the Millennium Falcon's one of those kind of, it seems almost like perfectly scaled for the minifigures. Because I think you can fit 4 minifigures in the cockpit of the Falcon. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't have the UCS Millennium Falcon.
But I was remembering, like, you can see pictures and stuff. I think you can, like, basically, you know, you can see pictures where they have Han, Chewie, Luke, and Leia all sitting in the cockpit.
So you're saying it looks cool?
It does look cool.
Well, this one comes out May 4th for $199.99. So I guess Star Wars Day. Be prepared to pre-order. And then we have some more news to share. Let's pull this up too. And Hot Toys decided to announce a new Bespin Luke Skywalker figure.
Because, of course, we need more.
Yeah,
but Bespin Luke.
This is my favorite version of Luke. So, you know.
I think it's a close second. I think Return Luke is probably my favorite version of him.
Really?
Yeah.
But this is a close second because I think this is when it's like very much swashbuckling hero, like classic Flash Gordon hero style in this whole scenario that he went through.
Yeah, I definitely like this. I like his outfit here. Like, I love the boot. For whatever reason, his boots look cool to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a sucker for the Return
Luke. What is it in universe? Is it just like a spare jumpsuit, like for the X-wing that he has, like a spare, like, and I guess their jumpsuits are just kind of really basic looking.
That or just it's just a like either that or it's just a pilot's like a basic pilot standard, like a standard basic, kind of like their shop outfit or something, you know, kind of like that's what they would wear just around because, you know, they may tinker on their plane or their, you know, or they may, you know, be doing other things, I guess, but they're not in their like their military outfit.
Doesn't
I'm
Boba
assuming
Fett
that's
wear
what
something like
that's
that?
supposed to be.
Doesn't Boba Fett wear something similar to that underneath all his armor?
Similar,
Yeah,
but that's just the same way of saying he wears similar, you know, like it's just like similar styled clothes. But I think the actual what he is wearing is more of like an actual like a suit, you know, like a jumpsuit. And I think Boba looked more like it was more of a kind of like an undersuit, like it was more of
Under Armour,
like a Under Armour kind of thing. This is way more because I mean, if he takes that off, remember he's got his tank top thing on.
Yeah, I guess I was just remembering the pockets on the front of the pants on Fett.
I will say they had similar boots too. If you're talking about that, so him and Fett had similar boots.
Oh yeah. Oh, but it does all that sculpt. Like it's that Hot Toy stuff. Incredibly expensive, but man, those sculpts are beautiful.
They are. They're like
super. That looks great. That looks great. I love the belt. The belt sculpt looks really, really good.
Rolling eyeballs. Wow, cool. I guess this is the deluxe version, which comes with the broken Vader helmet featuring.
You know, it's looking at something like this that makes me wonder, like, does Mark Hamill, because I know he's a big geek too, and I think he likes some Star Wars stuff. I don't know his extent of like the Star Wars stuff he likes. Like, I don't think he's a big nerd on the lore. Like, I think his own son had to explain who Darth Revan was before he did the voice.
I'm sure, yeah.
So I don't know if he collects, because I know he's a big nerd collector, but he probably doesn't collect Star Wars. But I wonder if he did like Star Wars, if it kind of would weird him out to see something like this, you know, a reprinting of him from like 30, 40 years ago.
He's like, keep feeding me the money.
But does he get money at this point, like for figures?
I think he gets some royalties off of his likeness.
Okay, I mean that.
I remember in an
interview,
Carrie Fisher talking about every now and then she get a check for like $5.
I also remember the joke where she said she had to give George Lucas a quarter or something every time she looked in the bathroom mirror.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say one feature I liked about the lightsaber is the one where you can put the blade on. It makes it looks like it's in motion.
Yeah. Where was that one at? I think I didn't see it.
It was like
good.
one picture bag and that. Yes, that looks great.
Yeah. So, you're talking about here?
Right there. Yeah, it was short.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is kind of
really cool.
That is cool. All right. So, and then the last bit of news before we get into our topic for the week is a new kids show, I guess, from Lucasfilm Kids called Galactic Pals.
I heard something about this.
Yeah, who knows?
Look at that Gungan. Oh, there's my Ewok.
I mean, if it helps kids kind of get into Star Wars, more power to them. And what I just saw in that picture just screamed like a committee, a little committee sat at a table thinking, "What's all cute in Star Wars? Let's put them all together." Because kids don't know anything; they'll just eat up images that we give them that look cute.
This looks like
Star
3-year-old
Wars
stuff.
Babies.
It kind of the cynic in me is.
I mean, when I was 4 and 5, I was playing with the actual toys. This wouldn't appeal to me.
Gungan?
Well, this is obviously for preschool kids. This is for like toddlers.
Yeah. I mean, but can it be as brilliant as Muppet Babies?
No,
I don't know. It's got porgs.
They're the new Muppet Babies isn't even as brilliant as the Muppet Babies. Like it, yeah, man. They really do need to bring that back because that was some great.
No, we're not talking about Muppet Babies. We can bring it. You get one mention of Muppet Babies per episode. One mention.
Muppet Babies.
All right, you're in jail now.
I know he is enabling me.
He's in Outer Rim jail now.
All right, so let's talk about the discussion for the week, which is bringing back the dead in Star Wars.
Yeah,
Ray, you brought it up, so.
Oh yeah. So there was a story that came in last week or two. Mace, he is Mace Windu now. No,
yeah, he is.
Samuel L. Jackson. He did an interview where he's kind of spoken that he's spoken about this stuff before for a while now. He's been really wanting to come back and play Mace Windu. To the point where he even mentioned recently in an interview that he spoke with Bryce Dallas Howard. And if you don't know, she is a big Star Wars fan. I did not realize that she was friends with Natalie Portman, and they, Ron Howard, he's good friends with George Lucas. She got to hang out on the episode 1 set, and her and Natalie Portman became really good friends. So it was someone around Natalie's own age that she got to hang out with. So that was kind of how Bryce got involved with Star Wars stuff. That was like her start for it. But she works on a lot of Star Wars shows now that we've been watching. She's worked on Boba Fett. She's worked on The Mandalorian. She's going to be working on Ahsoka, looks like. But Samuel L. Jackson mentioned to her, he spoke to her recently, and he, mentioned that he, if there's any way, he'd love to be able to come back and play Mace Windu again. And if you go on the internet and look at a lot of comments, you'll see people kind of freaking out about the idea of Mace Windu coming back, in some form. I guess there's this weird online fatigue where a couple of characters come back from the dead. And they're freaking out saying like, well, death has no meaning anymore in Star Wars. Everybody's coming back. And I think that's a bunch of, bull, but
yeah,
I mean, that's a topic of discussion. What is the merit and does it, does death really exist in Star Wars, or is it, is it work? Is it okay to bring back a character that's assumed dead, or what are the limits of you finding something believable in terms of a character's resurrection? Like what's okay with you, or even story wise, what's, in story wise, is it worth it to potentially cheapen a character's previous death?
Well, first off, do we even know that Mace Windu died?
I would say that's the start of it, because he's one of the few characters that have a death that not only looks like it could be survivable, but it also falls into that trope we see of a lot of storytelling where if you don't see a character straight up die in front of you, and when I say that, I mean like Qui-Gon getting a blade through the chest. I say that like
also Qui-Gon. Well, I was going to say Qui-Gon actually burned in front of you too, like they burned his body. Otherwise, you could have still brought him back. They could have stabbed him through the heart and still brought him back.
Yeah,
but I mean, a Jedi can fall through the air, and land on his feet.
Yeah, but you'll have the people that argue, in two different respects. You'll see people argue, because I've been seeing these arguments. I don't agree with them. I don't ever get into the discussions with them. It's not worth the time or the effort. But you'll see the people who were trying to defend keeping him dead would say something like, he got a lethal amount of electricity from Palpatine, and that he's gonna be unconscious that whole fall. So some of that makes sense in a respect, but I still think it falls into that category of there's a vague enough opening within what we see and what you're assumed that it can be undone, like the death itself. And then you'll have the story-wise people that the meaning of his death is, it's the crux of Anakin's fall. But my defense of that would be, it's not so much the killing of Mace that is the crux of his fall. It's his betrayal of what he believed in,
and plus his actions were he killed Mace, whether he actually killed him or not. His actions killed Mace. Like he would have, he's dead or not, his actions were to kill him to protect Palpatine. But like you were saying, with the way Mace died, it makes more sense that you could bring him back. Plus the fact that you combined with all those little factoids of not seeing his body and him being a Jedi and stuff, he's also one of the most powerful Jedis.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see him surviving it in some way, not maybe landing on his feet, but probably using the Force to soften the cushion the fall. But I could see him. I could see them. But with me, to answer that question about how far they would go, it would be like, it's one thing. Like Darth Maul was a stretch because he was cut in half.
Yeah, that was a very big stretch.
But they did always kind of, I feel like it was almost fan service though, because we always as fans were like, he could survive that. Like they could bring him back and give him robot legs or something. Like he could survive that. It's like because you don't actually see him die. You see him get cut in half and he's like, oh, the rest of the way. So it's like, we always kind of wanted that. So it was like, it's fan service, but that was a stretch.
Yeah.
But
but even in defense
Mace
of that,
could work.
Yeah. Well, even like in universe defense of that, Star Wars is notorious about, if you can somehow get medical attention before your body completely expires, if you can somehow get to something cybernetic before your body completely expires, you can maybe survive something. And I would say,
it's even easier than that, because as long as you get to some Bacta, usually it's like, if we've even seen that with Book of Boba Fett. That dude had serious damage. It's like, as long as he got back to treatments and he got the proper amount of back to treatments, then he was fine. He was golden.
Yeah.
But like Maul, we know lightsabers cauterize wounds, so he didn't have to worry about bleeding out. All he had to do was
he just couldn't urinate or poop.
But see, okay, so this is where I get to the other point of it. All he had to do was get to some kind of help before his organs, the rest of his organs that are keeping him alive in the moment, shut down. And I think that falls into that, his hatred, and rage within the dark side of the Force kind of kept his body moving.
Right, but he was also non-human. And that was another thing that would always come to my head would be that he's non-human. So I don't know what a Zabrak could. So I don't know what Zabrak physiology can survive. Like maybe that they're just built to withstand. Like if you cut off a limb, and if you don't cut off their head and you cut off all these limbs, they can, maybe their physiology, like they can like self clot and a lot easier and just heal, and who knows.
So you're saying he poops out of his ears and pees out of his nose?
He could, or who knows how they poop and pee.
The cybernetics of Star Wars are magical.
Oh
yeah, it's just like little finger things. They just like it just
like sitting on the toilet like this.
Well, here's another question in terms of death within Star Wars. How many characters within the visual media, let's not count books, legends or other ones, because I don't know how much would actually happen in there. But out of TV shows and the films, what characters actually have come back from the dead? How many have actually supposedly died, and their resurrection, did it seem believable or was it well explained? So, like, we start from the beginning. Maul, we already said that, it seems like it's plausible in a way. Pretty plausible, but it worked story wise because he got a much more I love his actual ending, his actual death that he, against old Ben. I felt that was even more beautiful, the way that went down.
Yeah.
So for me, it was worth it thematically.
Do you count Ezra and Thrawn, or they're just lost in space?
See that I wouldn't even count that because that was. I mean, that's a Filoni thing. I would say this one brilliant thing with Filoni is, you can tell when he intends to bring a character back because he does always leave that door vague enough.
Yeah.
Or he gives enough hints that he, that he's planning at some point to return to that. He doesn't suddenly stab a character through the chest and then suddenly bring that character back.
It's not like he tried to bring him back.
Qui-Gon.
Right. I couldn't see them bringing back Kanan. Like if they tried to do like, bring, but see that's an example of like squandering, like ruining, the reason of a death, like why that character had to die.
Well, I mean, that was even covered in an episode, the whole World Between Worlds was that whole dilemma of, is it worth it to resurrect somebody? And then the theme of that was his death had a really important purpose, and that was to save the people he loved. So but who else? Ahsoka, there was that whole thing with Ahsoka, and that was obviously planned. If you actually watch the whole episode at the end of season 2, well, I mean, we saw her, the last thing, when we saw 2 last moments of her. We saw her throw Ezra back to the ship, and we saw the pyramid kind of collapse in front of them, where she was in the middle of a fight with Vader.
Yeah.
Then in the aftermath of that, we see Vader leave the temple alive, and then we see her also exit, or it looks like she was going into the temple again from outside. And that kind of left the door, and people were wondering, like, did we see Ahsoka? Was that a ghost of Ahsoka? How did she survive? Yeah, we get that explanation later on, but I
would say, I mean, the only resurrection in the visual media that I just never could sit well with, and I still don't to this day, was Chewbacca's resurrection in Rise of Skywalker. Like, it just didn't make any sense.
I would say, like,
I didn't even killed him. I'm like, what are you even talking about?
I'll give it this. I'll give it this. I would say it's not the same type of resurrection as killing a character and then 10 years down the line deciding to undo it. I would say at least it happened within the same story. Yeah. I mean, it was.
But you have a point, though. You have a point. That was some crappy storytelling.
That was pretty ridiculous. Because all it served was to show her ability under pressure. To hint to the dark side.
That's it.
That was mainly what it was for.
No consequences. That's all.
Yeah.
And then the only other person I can think of is the Emperor
and Boba Fett.
He wasn't really dead.
Well, I mean, but
he seemed dead. Yeah, he seemed dead.
And Lucasfilm kept it under wraps for a long time, where people were very much in limbo and debating all the time about whether or not he was dead and if he should stay dead. Because I think the only hints we got of him up until The Mandalorian was the armor, like that. I think that it was mentioned in some of the Aftermath books, wasn't it, Austin?
Well, the armor. Yeah, that's where Cobb Vanth came from. I was going to say Cobb Vanth, his origin was told, like what they showed in the show was first told in the Aftermath. But they talk about the Mandalorian armor, and they never say it's Boba Fett's in the book, but it's Boba Fett's because they explain it. It's described, and then all that. But yeah, it's almost like even in those books they made it seem like he ain't coming back.
Yeah,
like you need to get over it. He's dead, but apparently not.
Well, I again, fan service like Darth Maul. People want Boba Fett back.
Speaking of fan service, I'm hearing, and we brought up Bryce earlier. I heard her mention something about like if you're a Clone Wars fan, that we're going to be like there's going to be
very
big payoffs and be very rewarded with Ahsoka. So I'm like, what y'all doing?
The big guess that people are thinking, like I've seen the main one people have been bringing up because it's Ahsoka. So it's the biggest assumption that people are safe with is thinking we might get another appearance of old Rex in live action, or a first appearance of old man Rex in live action, like maybe Tamara Morrison returns and plays old Rex, which I would love if
that's a given. I think that's a given.
Yeah, but it would be interesting what it would be in service of, like in the story, like maybe he passes away because he's got to be getting toward the end of his lifespan at this point.
Yeah, and two, I think it's not too far flung to think that maybe you're going to have some flashbacks and seeing Anakin and Obi-Wan because they were already at Lucasfilm filming other stuff. Go ahead and film some flashbacks for.
Well, we definitely know Hayden's gonna. Well, I mean, I think we already know Hayden's gonna be reappearing in Ahsoka. So
he is.
Yeah. So I'm curious what that could be. I mean, it feels like it's so far away, but I think they're actually about to start filming or filming soon. Yeah, or they just started filming.
Yeah, is this I think this May, April, May.
Okay, so they haven't exactly started
June,
yet.
something like the next couple of months. Yeah.
So I mean, we got some great casting news. We got Sabine was cast, and then we got some other actors.
Wait, time out! I didn't hear about this. Sabine got cast.
Oh yeah, she got cast a while back. I'd forgotten about it. Her name is hang on one second.
Is this before we started the Outer Rim new stuff back?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this was Natasha Liu Bordizzo.
So it's not the girl who did the voice.
No.
That's Sabine. Okay.
So she's been in. She was in the Netflix Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny. Did you see that, Austin?
I did.
Okay, she was a character.
I can't remember.
She was a character called Snowface.
Okay. Snowface?
Stow vase, like a vase.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you said Snowface. I was like, wow, that's
okay. What? But
Snowface?
Yeah, we got the other characters or not characters, but actresses. We got, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's playing somebody, and Ray Stevenson. Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing a bad guy.
Yeah. All right, I think that's the biggest. Was that confirmed or was that just an assumption?
I think this is an assumption. No. I think somebody said he's playing an Imperial of some sort.
He looks like the type that would play a good Imperial. So
yeah, but they just didn't know who or what.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it won't be too long before we see something for it. Maybe before the end of the year, we might see some kind of footage or tease for the show. I'm excited.
Just to kind of wrap up the show and to wrap up the talk about bringing back the dead, I think the worst case was Palpatine coming back. And I think it's just because there was not enough fleshing out of him coming back in prior.
I think it was that problem of it could have worked if it had been the trilogy that was pre-planned. I mean, we've said all this ad nauseum that this trilogy could have used pre-planning from the get-go.
Yeah.
But I think it could have been much better handled if they had pre-planned from The Force Awakens that the idea was Palpatine's behind this. We're going to bring him back. So then they could properly do hints and not just let every director go willy-nilly, have his fun in the sandbox, and then just make screw-ups here and there and mess each other up. So,
but I also think that the Disney Plus shows are sort of trying to fix this as they go along. because it seems like they're building, not necessarily to a big reveal, but they're kind of giving you hints along the way that something's going on with the Empire, and they're trying to maybe bring, the cloning and things like that. They're trying to do something to bring.
I think the Bad Batch has been hinting at Palpatine's cloning program, because we saw the
and
green,
how
I think
far
some
it
green
went
tanks.
back.
The green tank. So it sounds like he's been experimenting in this for a while. So I do like those Easter eggs they've been planting.
And probably 20 years from now we'll go back and look. Oh well, that sequel trilogy was really good. But that's because we've had 20 years of
other people
to build it up.
Other people fixing what Abrams and Johnson did.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for the Outer Rim News Show for this week. Any last thoughts, Austin?
I say we need more Star Wars animated series.
Good point. Ray?
I'm just ready for Ice Road not Ice Road Truckers.
Ice Road
Truckers, the new season. I don't know when that's going to come out. No.
May 4th, Ice Road Truckers, May 4th.
I don't know what my final thought is. I was going to come up with an obscure sci-fi movie. Space Truckers. That's what I was going to come up with.
Truckers.
We need a sequel for Space Truckers.
Oh,
it's a terrible, terrible Roger Corman film. But
Ice Road Truckers on a meteorite.
All right, my final thoughts are, I don't know.
Live long.
He was like
prosper.
Armageddon. Go watch
Live
Armageddon.
long and prosper. Live long and prosper.
Here we go.
Yep.
Penguin.
Yep. All right, everybody.
Vulcan. Penguin. Vulcan. Penguin. Vulcan. Penguin.
Okay, get rid of him. Got him.
See you later.
All right, later, y'all.